Hey guys, I wanted to make this video. My mic is empty. I forgot to charge it, but this is for beginners. So first of all, I wanna speak to a certain amount of points. This is going to be a relatively long video, so if you can't sit through it, I apologize for that. But I feel this information that I feel is very important. I speak to a lot of subscribers in my messenger. Really awesome. Please join Michel Inschoten. You can look me up on Messenger. Subscribe, comment, man. Do it. It costs you nothing, and share your experiences here too down in the comment section. It's always cool to hear you guys do this video, and I hate giving advice, but I get this a lot in my private circles now. Like, hey, I'm relatively new at this. Where should I start? And it seems to be that you kind of know what you're talking about. This is the thing, when you're in this hobby, I'm just sharing how I do stuff. But what I can do for you is make a video. This is not professional advice. I'm not gonna peddle you anything what you should buy. I'm just gonna tell you what I would do in your shoes right now, and from things I've learned over the past and present. So hopefully this will help you out. I might stutter in between, I might fall over words in between, I might get a little bit confused here and there. It's all off cuff. So first things first, I would set a solid budget that you're willing to lose. And that's kind of weird that I say that, willing to lose. What does that even mean? Who wants to lose money? You're new at this. You have one huge weapon that we don't have. You haven't heard much yet. You're new to this. So it's most likely even the little bit of lower tier equipment would just do fine for you. You're not used to anything yet. Guys like me that have been 20 plus years in this hobby, have multiple setups, have put in years into this, they have heard some stuff, and our ears are very spoiled to the sound that we have. So we're very complacent to a certain sound signature that our systems are producing for us. There is levels to this stuff, and you'll figure it out as you get further into this. The reason why I say be willing to lose your budget is that you're not sure yet. It could be that you put $2,000 into something, and then at one point you go like, what am I actually doing? I don't care much for it. To put this in an example, the turntable here I bought for less than half the price that the previous owner bought it brand new 3 weeks after he bought it brand new. Why? He went on that vinyl tour. He saw it on the internet. He saw some TikToks. He saw some shorts. Hey, I don't know exactly what it is, but I would like to try vinyl. He absolutely didn't like it, and he lost money on it. Don't be that guy, okay? You can prevent that. Set a budget that you're willing to lose. That brings me to the second one that helps you out tremendously with this one. And this might be controversial for us older guys to hear this, but hear me out before you start rattling on that keyboard, guys. Buy new. Don't buy vintage yet. And the reason for it is warranties, return policies, trial, and you can trial it before you buy it. So when you buy a loudspeaker on, say Amazon, say a Polk, or whatever you go for, you can actually trial it for about an average of 30 days. That's quite a large window to really figure out, do I want to go this route? It could be that you don't like the loudspeaker, it could be that you don't like the amplifier, it could be that you don't like the whole damn thing. You can send it at least back and get your money back. You don't lose your budget. And you can tinker a little bit more. You can send it back, and people say, well, it's a hassle. Well, it beats buying something vintage for, say, $2,000 or $1,000 or $1,000 speaker, and then you come here and like, I don't really like it. And then you have the hassle of selling the damn thing. It's something that's more for advanced people. Vintage equipment comes with its own burdens. Refoaming woofers, tubes, recapping, deoxing, cleaning. These things have switched multiple hands, multiple owners. Now, luckily in our community, if you have a good brand, you have a reputable brand, usually previous owners have taken good care of it. It sits in a rack and take care of it. But there's also people, unfortunately, when you get something in, I had it with one of the MC100s here, tubes that you see, I had to basically restore this thing from the ground up. It was an expensive ordeal. And luckily I got my money back, but technically they didn't have to do it. You know what I mean? So it's a risk you take. Plus, it's harder for you to find that one tree through all the vintage stamped trees out there. Because now these days, guys, you cannot look on eBay and you see everything is stamped vintage. And the prices are astronomical for what they ask for some of the equipment out there. I'm sorry, that's just fact, but that's just how the market now is. So I would argue, go with something new. Now, this is also another one. Should I go for a CD player, or should I go for vinyl, or should I go for both? For a new guy, I would tell you straight up, and this saves you a shit ton of money, neither. Do not buy a CD player, do not buy a turntable. Caveat, unless you have a ginormous collection that you just inherited from your grandpappy on either format, then it's a kind of a justified buy. Other than that, I would stick with streaming. And the reason for that is everybody has streaming on their phone these days. Either is it not Tidal, is it not iTunes, is it not Spotify? Everybody has a streaming service on their phone because that's how you listen to, that's how most people now listen to music. And honestly, it's more than perfect. Don't let the internet tell you that this is garbage and that the quality is not good enough. Complete horseshit. Stop falling on their bandwagon. It's just parroting nonsense. Streaming is more than capable of giving you musical enjoyment. And again, especially when you're new, and even for older guys like me, dude, streaming is more than plenty, and you already have it. You don't have to pay anything for it. This little streamer here, this little LDAC streamer, if you go for a streamer, look for something simple. This thing cost me $40. Shit you not, and it's an LDAC streamer. LDAC is basically a higher form of Bluetooth connectivity. It's never giving me any issues. It sounds really just as good as my CD player. Now, why do I tell you not to get a CD player? The good CD players, I don't know new now. New, it starts to boom a little bit. The format is becoming more expensive. And with new CD players, I would argue they're probably very good. And if you go for an old vintage one, it's a hit and miss. And I think you guys all agree out there, the older guys can tell you this. You know, when the laser's worn out, it's a pain in the arse to get those replaced. It's gonna be costly. Turntables, needless to say, the format is atrociously expensive. The last time I bought a record, and I buy only new because I don't like boxes no more. That's my choice. But the last time I bought a record, maybe 3-4 months ago. I actually need to order another record again. I do like once a month, but it's because I already have a collection. Because, you know, I've been a little bit further in this hobby. I got 4 turntables, but I would not start with it. It's just a money pit. It really is. And, you know, I hate saying it because I love it, but it really is that way. Then it brings me to this point, and that is loudspeakers. Should I go for a floor stander or should I go for a bookshelf? Now, I would argue if you really are constrained for space, if you cannot put a floor stander or a loudspeaker away further, like say at least 2.5-3 feet away from a back wall and somewhat off a side wall, I would strongly suggest you to save your money a little bit and go for a good bookshelf speaker. Go for a good 2-way, maybe even a 3-way if you want some more body and a little bit more of a, let's say, floor standard feel. You can always add a small subwoofer to it somewhere in your room if you can place it. It doesn't have to be huge to give it some dynamic forwardness or some dynamic feel in the bottom. And that's what I would start with. Why? It's easier to place, costs you less money, you probably stay more within your budget, and you don't have huge guys to move around anywhere and being flat against the wall. This type of stuff really functions better if it can be off the wall. Now for bookshelves, this is the same story, but bookshelves are a little bit more forgiving because when you have a 2-way bookshelf, guess what? You do not have a dedicated low-end driver. And that's a big thing with moving against walls and away from walls. The low end is the most controlled thing there, in my opinion. So that's where I'm at, but it's situational. Figure it out. Like I said, if you buy new, if you go that route, you can kind of switch that around a little bit. You can try some things and see where you really land. You know, for every jar, there's a lid. So it's the same with this stuff. Then amplifiers, that's a big thing. This is a big thing and it's perpetuated by the internet and it pisses me off, frankly, especially when new people ask questions. Preamp, power amp, or should I go for an integrated amplifier? Now, I do know today, you can find very good smaller Class D. And I know everybody, oh my God, Class D amplifiers that are plenty of wattage and can drive almost anything. The technology has caught up tremendously. I would argue when you're new, do not focus too much on the preamp and power amp combo. This is where money starts to come in. This is not cheap. Just this little combo here. Now, in my case, you may know, if you look secondhand, the preamp alone is $1,500. This amplifier, you're looking at about $2.5 grand. Now, this is a little bit of a more extreme example, but that's what it does now on the market. That is great when you're a little bit further in, when you really feel like this is a hobby I want to proceed in, and etc. You don't want that type of investment. These two components in this room alone are for some people their entire budget. So don't do that. So just look for something that is very well established, that is very well documented. And I will get to this in a minute. We're going into a different thing and away from the hardware, a little bit more into, the psychological nonsense that's out there behind it. But as I was saying, I would argue get yourself a good integrated amplifier. If you have a 2 times 100 watt, 2 times 125, 150 watt, you already there. Like most speakers will run of it, especially newer speakers. When you have older speakers too, it's another vintage disadvantage a little bit. Like this here, it's 83, 84 dB. It's not really sensitive, and it does take more power to run to its full potential. But newer speakers these days, designs are better, crossover networks are better, they're just more efficient, yada yada. Doesn't mean they don't exist. There's still companies out there that manage to make a speaker that's just horrendously on the sensitivity or even impedance. But in overall, even in a budget line, you find some really good speakers these days that can be run relatively easy. So now we're going more into the psychological side of things, and I'm talking the internet. Now, the internet is a cesspool of brain rot, if you ask me, and I'm very strongly opinionated about it as you watch this video on the internet. There is a very distinct difference between content creators and influencers. Influencers have nothing in common with you. They will try to sell you products. They will say every product that they review is fantastic and you should go for this. And next week they have another giant killer or another best DAC that they've ever heard or another cable that they should peddle to you. Be aware of that. There's a lot of marketing fluff in this. And I think for the new guys, the older guys kind of know this. They navigate this pretty well. And some older guys still believe this stuff. Oh, it was reviewed and it had a hi-fi award. These awards that magazines give, like Absolute Sound, Stereophile, you name all of them. And it's not a hack on them. Maybe it is. But it's kind of nice being independent. It's all bullshit. It doesn't mean nothing. It just means that some old fart out there has listened to this stuff and gave it an award. It gave a sticker on a magazine. It doesn't mean much, guys. Don't let your focus dwell too much on that. There is so much in between that is really good and really performance-wise phenomenal and probably cost you a fraction of the price. Don't fall for it. Also, refrain yourself from going to a group and go like, and this, I see this a lot. You still see it a lot today. And it's, to me, this could be a separate subject for another video actually, is I have $2,000. Can somebody help me out buying my stereo? Or, should I do this? Or what do you think of this and that and that and that? Here's the problem. People are biased. Doesn't matter if you're talking to me. Doesn't matter if you talk to anybody. People will be biased. When you ask a question in a group, you get 55 different answers if 55 people react on it. It doesn't help you. It only confuses you more. Follow your heart. When you're new, remember, your strongest weapon is you haven't heard much. So it's very unlikely that you run into stuff that you don't like. Also, this is a big one, and this is a mistake a lot of new guys make, in my opinion. They go to a local hi-fi store, they get their ears rang by a salesperson, and you sit in a demo room and you hear all of these beautiful loudspeakers and beautiful equipment, Magnetage and all the Acoustics and all this great gear, and you're mesmerized by that sound. And it can fuck you up. It really can. There's a couple in my circle that actually have done that, and it really screwed with them. They really felt their own system fell short. The thing is, you're sitting in a different space. It's not your space. You're sitting in front of a complete different system that does not guarantee it's going to work in your home. When you have a 5-minute demo, does not mean you're going to love it. Could be an hour later that you sit there with ear fatigue. Ugh, it's boring. This is too much, and yada, yada, yada. Don't let things influence you too much on that. Use some common sense, and don't be afraid to try some things. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with reading some reviews. I get it. Everybody does it. Everybody wants to hear whatever they bought, that's the best, sandwich they've ever had. Unfortunately, there's tons of sandwiches and tons of toppings for them. Ergo, equipment out there that is just as good, if not better, if not whatever. Most equipment, every piece of equipment that you're going to listen to is going to exceed your ears. You got to understand that. I would also argue, and this is probably the best tip I can give you, aside from what I just so far said, because it's becoming a long video, as I said, understand your room. That is your biggest gain as well. That's where you gain the most. Play with placement. Don't be scared to move your speakers away. Don't be scared to measure your room. Don't be scared to follow some basic understanding of what this means. When you set something up, understand the basics. The basics will help you. The basics are not the golden standard, but it does help you. If you can move a speaker away from the back wall, that makes a tremendous difference. There's people out there, and I'm pretty sure in the comment section, the older guys out there, you know, the veterans out there, they will tell you the same thing. It can even be as critical as a couple of inches of movement in a speaker towing in or out, and that you go like, oh my God, this made the whole difference. Hang some panels on the wall. Put a rug on the floor. You can even experiment with pillows behind your speaker if you have too much bass or too much things going on. Don't just give up immediately because you think this is horrible. 9 out of 10 times, it is a room issue, and it can be traced to the room. And it's something that you can work on, and it doesn't cost you anything. So hopefully for the new guys, this will help you out. Again, I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm just telling you how I look at things. I try to use some logic in it, my own experiences in it. And trust me, it's an awesome journey. If you join this journey, it can be very rewarding. When you sit there and you listen to music and you experience it in a way you've never experienced it before, that is very, very rewarding for a lot of us. And again, you got to do what you got to do. And I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not trying to influence you. And hopefully this will help you to get some more grounded choices in whatever you're going to do. So guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for hopefully understanding me in this video. And hopefully I see you in the next one. And like, subscribe, costs you nothing. I'm not sponsored. I'm doing my own thing. More content to follow. Catch you later, guys.